Hello, everybody. This is Swati live from Los Angeles, doing the 6-week long mindfulness camp with you. We are reaching almost the end of our week number 2. When our week number 3 begins on this Sunday, we will be going to the next stage or next step of our mindfulness meditation training, which is to move more towards body sensations. And that's going to be a different experience for you. So far, we have been focusing on our breath. But before we turn towards doing the meditation, what I would like to do with you is to continue the story I started telling you last time, which was the story of Gautama the Buddha. This is the way Vipassana was originated. Gautama the Buddha. The way I'm saying it may sound a little bit different to some of you, but this is the way it is pronounced in India, Buddha. Buddha or Buddha. So the story goes like this. Long time ago, there lived a prince whose name was Siddhartha. This prince belonged to a clan called Gautama. It was a royal noble family. And so this prince was educated in all kinds of warcrafts and all the noble things that typically prince is supposed to learn. But this prince was sensitive. He always looked around and thought. He was very interested in philosophical manners. And the way the story goes, this is what in India people grow up hearing about, is that this prince never left the palace. He was shown only the pleasure of the palace lives. He was shown the gardens and the luxuries, but not the pain. When he became the young man, he ventured outside. And the day when he ventured outside, he saw 3 things. He saw death, a dead person who was being carried by the kin. And then he saw illness. He saw an old person, very old guy, who was suffering from being ill. And then he also saw just aging and illness. So he saw 3 things: death, aging, and illness. And then he said to himself, these 3 things everybody has to deal with. So basically he started thinking about how everybody's life has something. We all deal with some pain, some suffering, something that doesn't go the way we had planned. There is loss, there is grief, there are traumas, there are all kinds of things that we suffer from. How do you transcend this? How do you move more towards joy in spite of whatever life brings to us? So he wanted to look for the answer. So the story goes like this, that one night he kissed his wife and child who was sleeping, and he left the palace without telling anybody. Now, some of these things could be myths, or some of these things may or may not be true. That is not the point. But what remains to be true is that Siddhartha went out searching for the answers. In the beginning of his journey, he went with Hindu ascetics of his times, who would go to the forest and who would do austere things there. For example, some of them may be standing in the river for half a day on one leg, and so on, meditating for long hours, not eating that much food. Very austere, severe way of trying to gain knowledge. He listened to sermons. He did get some answers, but not what he was looking for. He moved on to other types of teachings, but he didn't find something he was looking for. Finally, he went to Gaya, what's now known as Bodh Gaya. There was a big banyan tree. He sat under the tree and he decided he was going to meditate till he gets the answer. How much he meditated, for how long, that's again not the most important thing. He did meditate long enough and he found his answer. His answer, he said, can be summarized in this way: the house of misery is built by bricks of attachment. You take those bricks away, and the house will collapse. So he came up with four noble truths. He said that pain and suffering, that's part of everybody's life. And the reason is attachment. And it can be, we can deal with it. We can get rid of these miseries, these bricks of attachment. And the way to do it is to follow eightfold path. Our purpose right now is not to get into the depth of Buddha's philosophy, which later on became what is known as Buddhist religion, which he did not intend to. However, what we are interested in, the meditation that he did. When he was teaching his eightfold path, he said one of the main things in that eightfold path is to do the right type of meditation. And the meditation he proposed was what we are doing or learning at this point, Vipassana style of meditation. And that's where 2500 years ago, Vipassana was originated. Because Buddha was supposed to have been enlightened, he was called Buddha, the awakened. Gautama, the Buddha. That's how he became known. So that was the origin of Vipassana. But then how did it come to the West? And how did it spread in India? Those things we will have to wait till tomorrow, till I tell you more about Vipassana. One thing I do want to say right now is Buddhism as a religion is one thing that started later on, where there were rituals and there were whatever you are supposed to do. But that's not the origin of how Buddha's thinking started. In fact, Buddha was more a psychologist, a philosopher, a teacher. And what he said was, try what I'm trying to tell you, try it out yourself. If it works for you, then go with it. He thought of himself as a teacher, not as any special God's messenger, or that he was starting a new religion or anything of that sort. And that's where I would like to go, the psychology and the philosophy of his thinking. More importantly, the meditation that he taught, and which is what we are doing, being aware, self-awareness. That's the first step, self-awareness. And that's what we are trying to cultivate by being mindful. So with that, we are going to turn towards our daily meditation, which is the breath awareness meditation. And I'm going to get rid of this at the bottom. So we have more screen space. And as I said before, since we are in Los Angeles, and I have my whole meditation paraphernalia with me, I'm going to be using this gong to start the meditation. So at this point, please close your eyes. And I hope the audio is clear, because last time people were saying the audio wasn't that clear. So let me know if the audio is not clear. I just want to make sure. Oh, there are questions about my app. If you have any problems downloading the app or listening to Goenkaji's meditation or anything of that sort, please email me. That will help me, because then I can ask my developer to look into it. So please email me what problems you have. Okay, so now close your eyes. And relax your shoulders. Spinal cord straight. Take a few deep breaths. And now let's turn towards our breath. Breath is source, breath is life, breath is our refuge, breath is our center, breath is our anchor. Let's turn towards it. Choose your preferred way to pay attention to the breath. And as you breathe in and breathe out, please pay attention to your breath. Be aware of all the minute and subtle ways in which the breath is entering your body and rejuvenating your body. Just notice. You're not changing your breath. You're not doing any breath exercise. You're just breathing normally and noticing how the breath is going in and going out. Some may be long, some may be short, some may be shallow, some may be deep. Some may feel a little clogged or blocked. Some may feel rejuvenated. Whatever it is, that's the way it is at this moment. And let me just pay attention to it. Let me be aware of my breath. If your mind is wandering around and once you realize it, aha, this is my mindful moment. Let me come back to my breath. If you feel distracted, tempted to do something else, that's okay. Just notice that and come back to your breath. For next 10 minutes, all we are going to do is just pay attention to my breath. Every moment is a new moment. How is my breath received by my body? Bring your attention back to your breath. This is my mindful moment. I bring my attention back to the breath. Breath is our life source. Breath is the vital thing about our existence. Breath is your refuge, our anchor, our center. Bring your attention back to your breath. Breath in and breath out. Pay attention. Other things are outside this door at this moment. All we are doing is sitting with our body still and paying attention to the breath. Breath in and breath out. Paying attention to the breath. Breath goes in, notice. Breath goes out. Breathing in, breathing out, and noticing. Bring your attention back to life, to the source of our life, the vital thing about our existence, our breath. How is it going in? How does it work? Notice all the different sensations you notice, all the subtle ways in which each moment is a little bit different here and now. Just being aware. Breathing in, breathing out. And now at this point, we are going to start winding down our meditation. And for that purpose, we are going to pay attention to the one line 3 times before we stop. And pay attention to what you're saying. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. And with that, you can open your eyes slowly at first and then all the way. Uh, as I said, Sandy is having problems downloading the meditation. Sandy, I suggest try it again today and see if it works. When you try to download Goenkaji's meditation, if it is possible for you to take a screenshot of your device and email it to me, that would be really useful. That way I can look at it and then see what could be going on. But meanwhile, turning back again to our breath meditation, as I said, the whole teaching is about self-awareness. And anyone who says self-awareness as the first step obviously is a psychologist. So what we are doing is we are using first step is we are using our breath to become aware of how the breath goes in and comes out. And that, in a way, is making us aware of one part of our body. And how does that take you to all the other things we are talking about? We will get to that. Just patience. Someone is posting another question. Is there a difference between whether I exhale through the nose or through the mouth? Um, Again, as I said, have the normal breath. In this case, we are not trying to do anything specific. If as it turns out, you normally want to exhale through the mouth, that's okay. Remember, what we are doing in breath awareness meditation is we are becoming aware of the breath the way it is here and now. So if it comes out of the mouth, you notice that it's coming out of the mouth. And that's how your body felt like doing. Uh-huh. Okay, so my back hurts when I sit upright. So the discomfort is very distracting, any situations. That's a great question, Shamira. This is a common issue. In fact, when you go to retreats, long retreats, You will find in the beginning of the retreat a lot of people using backrest, and I would suggest in the beginning of your training it would be okay to use the backrest, because we want to focus on the breath and not so much on the pain. Eventually I would suggest that try to go through the discomfort for whatever amount of time we decide, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and see if that discomfort reduces, or even if it becomes more and higher, if it is possible for you to sit through the discomfort and meditate without a backrest. Try to start in a position that seems a little better and that would seem more conducive to not having a backache. But even then, there are people who do have discomfort. And I hate to say this, but by making you sit through the discomfort and getting to a stage where you can have your spinal cord straight, that's part of the training. So you may want to go through it. Having said that, in the beginning, till you get a little bit better with paying attention, yes, to use a backrest. And so with this, I don't see any more questions at this point. And also we are coming to the end of our time. Somebody last time had mentioned that they fall asleep when they start meditating sometimes. And one more time, sleeping is not the same thing as meditation. We are relaxed but alert. However, sleep is a very known, common enemy of meditation. Basically, there are 5 enemies of meditation, and sleep is one of them. So, if it happens, try to open your eyes, move your eyeballs around, or look at the lights and try to wake yourself up. And but it's not such a big deal because it happens even to some experienced meditators. It depends on what time of the day you meditate and so on and so forth. So you may want to keep track of that. Try to meditate at the time of the day which is better for you in terms of not falling asleep. Our intention when we are doing these breath awareness meditation is not to fall asleep, but to be aware of the breath. So what are the other 4 enemies of meditation? We will get to that when time comes. Right now, I have to say bye to you. I hope you could hear me because I saw my picture was frozen, but I hope you could still hear me. And with that, I have to say bye to you, and I'll see you all tomorrow.